This is $7,350, and this one is $8,000 without the diamonds, $13,500 with, which is the version that I'm showing to you right now. The first bracelet is the Cartier Love Bracelet in yellow gold and in the classic size. And the second bracelet is the Cartier Juste Un Clou, also in yellow gold in the classic size, but with diamonds. So we're gathered here today to discuss, are the Cartier bracelets and the Van Cleef and Arpels bracelets still worth your money? In 2025, should we be spending our money on Cartier bracelets and Van Cleef and Arpels bracelets? You will find that I don't own any of the Van Cleef Alhambra collection, except for this one necklace that I have, which just has a single motif on it. And I'm going to tell you why a little bit later. But first, let us talk about what makes a jewelry piece worth investing in and whether you should spend money on these pieces. Welcome to my channel, friends. If you are new here, go ahead and watch my entire fine jewelry collection video if you have not as yet. I've done an updated 2025 fine jewelry collection where I show you every piece of jewelry that I own, as well as try them on for you. So that is a video you definitely want to see. And if you are a regular subscriber, welcome back. Happy to have you guys here. Alright friends, so when you're buying jewelry, you're either buying it for investment or for enjoyment or for both. Let us talk about the differences between the two. So I did bring some notes with me because I know some jewelry experts I've gathered information from, as well as just general information off of the net and my personal experience. So let us begin with the first detail, which is investment. When we say investment, there are four components that we're looking at. This includes brand reputation, timeless design, quality materials, and quality retention. When we talk about brand reputation, we're talking about the brand prestige. How long has the brand been around? How is this brand regarded? What is the perception? All of that. So a lot of brands that have a great reputation include Cartier, Van Cleef and Arpels, Rolex, Bulgari, all of the popular brands that you know. Yes, they are popular, but they also earned this right because most of these companies have been around for decades, and some of the pieces, like the ones we're talking about today, have been around since the 1960s, which means they're going on over almost 60 years old, and the pieces are still relevant. That brings me to the next one, which is timeless design. Can the piece transcend generations? Was it pretty in 1960? Is it still pretty in 2025? Did people enjoy wearing it in 1975? Would you still enjoy wearing it 25 years from now? So those are the things that tell us whether the design is timeless. It keeps on going from decade to decade, generation to generation, and it is still relevant. Now, usually what will make a design timeless is if it is a simpler design and if both men and women can wear it, so that means it's a unisex piece. Can it be worn by a younger person? Like, would you give a Juste Un Clou to a 16-year-old? Would it be a great gift for a 70-year-old? So things like that make a design timeless. So when it comes to quality materials, we're literally just talking about what is the piece made out of. Is the piece going to be resistant to wear and tear? Can you wear it every single day? And will it still be beautiful in 20 years if you never took that piece off? Or if you take it off occasionally? It just means how much can you wear the piece and it still looks good over time. And that relates to the next part of investment, which is quality retention. So quality retention is talking about however you bought it on day one, what it looked like on day one. Can it still look like that on day 100? Does the piece retain the same quality or close to it that you started with? So those are the four components that make up investments. If you're buying a piece for investment and you want to have a return on your investment in the future, or if it is important to you that there will be resale value, or maybe you won't be selling it in the future, but you just want to know that over time you have gained equity. Those are the 4 things you're looking for to consider if it is a good jewelry piece for investment. So the second component is going to be enjoyment. And enjoyment simply refers to, do we love the piece? Do we enjoy wearing it? Does it make us happy? Do we just simply want to have it as a part of our collection? When it comes to enjoyment, we're not worried about return on investment. We're not worried about wanting to sell the piece in the future, and we don't care if it depreciates as soon as we leave the store. The whole point of enjoyment is buying things without having to feel obligation that this piece needs to last you a lifetime. That being said, when I'm buying things for enjoyment, I still personally want to ensure that the piece is well designed and that the materials are still quality materials. Because even though when it comes to enjoyment, I'm not so worried about which brand it is from, and maybe I'll pick something a little bit more quirky or something that does not have as timeless of a design, so I can get a little bit more specific. For example, the ruby ring that I have in my collection, I still want to have my piece in the future looking like it did on day 1. I still want it to look like that on day 1 million from now. So for my enjoyment, I might omit branding, and I don't care about which brand it's from, and I might not care that the design is timeless, but I still care that the piece is a wonderful design, that it has that great artistry and craftsmanship, and I still care that it is made from quality materials. And we're gonna get to that in just a moment. Remember, I was telling you the only piece of Van Cleef Arpels Alhambra that I have is this one single motif necklace that I'm wearing right now. And if I were to add another piece, there is one that I have in mind, but it's not gonna be like another malachite piece or something like that. And that has to do with the quality of the materials. But let us move on to the second category that you want to look at when considering if you should buy a particular piece of jewelry. So let's talk a little bit about cost, value, and quality. Now, without getting too technical, I just want you to know that you shouldn't confuse quality with value, because those are 2 very different things. Also, cost just refers to how much did it actually cost the manufacturer to make this piece. It could be $5, but they could turn around and sell it for $5,000. That $5,000 will be the value of the piece, because that is what they're selling it for. That is the actual sales price, while the cost is just what it costs them to create it in terms of the craftsmanship, the materials, the labor, and all of that. Now, as far as the quality goes, the major question to ask is, does the price tag match the quality? Like, is the price fair for what the quality is? So as far as the Cartier bracelets go, they're about 30 grams of gold or so. And you can get about the same number of grams in a simple timeless design like this from another jeweler, and it will cost you a whole lot less. And some people do opt for that, and you can definitely do that. It's kind of like buying a house. You can buy, let's say, a 4,000 square foot super beautiful home that is well made, and you can buy that house, let's say, in San Diego, and it's gonna cost you 12 million. Or you can buy the same house in, let's say, somewhere in Texas, and it's gonna cost you maybe 2 million. So the quality doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how much you're being charged by the jeweler. The jeweler is charging you based on their own brand reputation and the demand and supply that they have going for their particular pieces that they're selling. And that is why in the case of Cartier and Van Cleef and Arpels and Tiffany and all of the big jewelry houses, they're able to charge you a much, much larger price tag for a piece of jewelry than some other local or smaller jewelers might charge you. And that is because their brand reputation, their brand prestige, their brand image adds value to the piece, and they can charge you based on that and not just on the actual materials, craftsmanship, labor that it took to create your particular piece of jewelry. So the next question you're probably gonna have is this fair? This sounds like there is nothing in it for me and only the brands are getting my money and I'm getting nothing in return. That might not be the case. As we said before, some pieces are for investment, or you can enjoy returns on investment by buying certain pieces. And what that means is a piece like the Cartier Love Bracelet, let's just go down history and I'll show you how there might be something in it for you. So there's a report called the Clear Report, and on there they detail for you that you need to check out retained value versus retail prices. And this is how we're gonna know if the prices being charged are fair enough to make it worth the investment for you. So the first question is, how long are you planning to keep the piece of jewelry? And this is important because your profit, if you resell the piece, is going to depend on how long you have had it and how much the price has increased since your date of purchase. It also is going to depend again on the quality of the materials, because if you have your piece for 20 years but it is not in good condition after 20 years, even though the price on the market has increased so much, you are not going to get a good return on your investment because the piece has deteriorated or depreciated too much to where it's not going to be valuable for someone else to want to buy that piece from you. So let's dissect this a little bit and go through the history of the prices of the Love Bracelet. So the Cartier Love Bracelet was first introduced in 1969. The Juste Un Clou was introduced shortly after in 1971. And the Van Cleef and Arpels Alhambra was introduced in 1968. So all of these bracelets are approaching about 60 years old, and all of them have maintained their relevancy over time. So they're checking one box, which is that as far as investment goes, the design is timeless and has transcended so many decades, and also the brand reputation is still alive and well. By the way, both companies are owned by a bigger company called Richemont. Yeah, the Richemont Group. They own both Van Cleef and Arpels and Cartier. So basically all your money is going to the same place at the end of the day. But I digress. So the main thing you want to gather from this is the longer you hold on to the piece of jewelry, the more money you might make. For example, that first Cartier Love Bracelet was sold for $250. Mind you, it was silver plated in gold. And then they improved on the design and later made the design that I have now, and that what a lot of you have or that you are shopping for. It seems that they have cleared the internet of all of the price in history. It was really hard to find what things used to cost. However, I did find a few forums where people were sharing how much they paid back in the day. So I found that in 1999, someone bought their Cartier Love Bracelet for $2,500. In 2008, someone paid $3,600. In 2020, I bought mine for $6,500. And now in 2025, it is $7,350. So in the 5 years since I've owned mine, the price has gone up $850. So almost $1,000 in 5 years. So let's say in 15 years, it will be up by maybe about $3,000. So the longer I keep the piece, the more the price will keep going up, but I'm still getting to wear the piece every single day. So to answer the question of, is there anything in it for you? It is gonna come down to how long are you willing to hold on to the piece for. So if I still have my Love Bracelet and my Juste Un Clou in say 20 years, by then the price will have gone up at least $4,000. And so at that time, if I wanted to sell, I'd be making a profit on the price. Even if I were to sell them back for exactly the price I paid, I would not be totally mad because I would have enjoyed 20 years of wearing the piece and still be able to sell it back for what I paid for it in the initial time. But there still might be some profit to be made because coming back to our other component of investment, what we're also looking for is the quality of the materials. The Love Bracelet and the Juste Un Clou are solid yellow gold, 18 carats. It's not going anywhere. So because the design is timeless and because the materials are quality, in 20 years when the price has gone up significantly, either I'm going to have a lot of equity in the piece because I will not be selling them and I'm going to be keeping them, or I can make profit on the pieces because I've been wearing them all that time and I'll still be able to sell them for more than I purchased them for, or at least be able to break even on the price that I paid. Now that brings me to why I have an issue with the Van Cleef and Arpels Alhambra bracelets. And here's the thing, majority of the stones they're using, like malachite, onyx, mother of pearl, those stones do not score well on the MOHS scale, and that is a scale that tells you the hardness of a stone. And why this is important, the harder a stone is, the more resistant the piece is going to be, which means that the more wear and tear it can take, and it's not going to look bad over time. So with our Juste Un Clou, with our Cartier Love Bracelet, years and years and years can pass. For example, my Love Bracelet, I've had it for 5 years. The last time I cleaned it was a month ago or so, and it's still shiny, it's still beautiful, it looks amazing. And this was just me cleaning it at home. If I took it to the store and they did like a nice refurbish on it, it would look even better. That is to say, in 50 years from now, this Love Bracelet, this Juste Un Clou are going to look just as fresh and just as beautiful as the first day they were bought, while the Van Cleef and Arpels pieces that are not high on that MOHS scale are going to look really bad. Like I've had this necklace for, is it 3 years? I want to say it's 3 years. And it's not as shiny as it once was, and I cannot get that shine back. There is a little water stain on one side. Yeah, there you go. I can't get that out. So basically the Van Cleef and Arpels malachite necklace I have has some kind of a water stain or oil stain or something like that on it. And they tell you very clearly on their website, do not expose your jewelry to hand sanitizer, hand lotion, perfume. Don't get in the pool, don't get in the ocean, don't take a shower with them on. Don't expose them to extreme heat. All kinds of stuff you have to do. And it is good that they're telling you straight up not to do those things because those materials are not very resistant. So while I can jump in the ocean in my Juste Un Clou, in my Love Bracelet, I cannot do that with those stones from the Van Cleef and Arpels lines. And for somebody like me who's very active, I'm always in the gym, I'm going on hikes, I'm always traveling and things like that, it does not work for my lifestyle because in a few years, those pieces would have deteriorated to the point where, let's say 20 years from now, even though the brand still has a great reputation, still has a great image, even though the piece might be timeless design and it's still relevant in the future, I would be missing the component of quality materials and quality retention because the piece will not have retained its luster and it's not gonna be as pretty, or the quality will be gone. And so even if I still have the piece then, I just won't be able to resell it even though the price has increased exorbitantly by then. So for example, this was say $3,300 when I bought it. Even though the piece might be up to $10,000, because it's no longer going to be anywhere near what the original brand new one looks like, I'm just not going to be able to get a decent return on my investment. And that is why I avoid those particular pieces. However, they do have some stones that will last a lifetime. For example, the Guilloche collection. And those are just so beautiful. And I hope I'm saying that word right. Don't drag me. But they are so beautiful. They're all yellow gold. And the stroking of the patterns is just so pretty. And if I added anything else, Van Cleef and Arpels, that is what I would go for. Because instead of using a stone that is going to diminish over time, they have used pure yellow gold, and that is going to make those pieces look phenomenal in the future because they're much, much better at resisting wear and tear than something like malachite or agate is going to. Also, if you were just to get the diamond and the yellow gold pieces, those two are going to be timeless and they are going to be fully resistant, or at least 90% resistant going into the future. But I do know anything with diamonds is going to be a lot more expensive, so I can totally understand why you would avoid that. But as far as the guilloche collection goes, it's only very fractionally more expensive than the mother of pearl and onyx and all of the other stones are. So for example, the guilloche 5 motif bracelet is $6,150 at the moment. The mother of pearl is $4,600, so that is a difference of $1,550. And the malachite is $5,300, which makes a difference of $850. So basically what I'm saying is, to get something that is 18K yellow gold that is gonna last you a lifetime, that costs less than $1,000 to $1,500 more, I would rather do that than to spend $5,000 or more than $5,000 on a piece that I know I'm not gonna have forever, or I know is going to deteriorate, or is just not gonna be so pretty in a couple years to come. And if you just look at some people's videos and they show you what their pieces look like after 10-12 years of wearing them, you'll get to see that what I'm saying is, it's really not worth the money. So let's answer the question. We have come to answering the question of, are the Cartier, are the Van Cleef and Arpels bracelets still worth investing in? And the overarching answer is, in the case of the Juste Un Clou and the Cartier Love Bracelet, I say yes, because these are quality pieces, the brands have strong reputation, and you have a great chance of having these pieces in many, many, many years, decades to come. Even if you don't resell your piece at a profit, you'll at least be able to sell it for the price that you paid while still getting to enjoy wearing it on a daily basis. And if you don't resell, you can always pass it on, say to a child or a sibling or someone, and they're also going to enjoy wearing that piece for many, many years to come, and it's never going to deteriorate to the point where it's not beautiful, or at least close to being as beautiful as the first day that you bought it. In the case of the Van Cleef and Arpels Alhambra collection, as far as the stones that are low on the MOHS scale go, mother of pearl, onyx, carnelia, the agate, the malachite, they're going to deteriorate. They won't be as pretty, and they're just not worth spending your money on because they're not going to last you forever. However, do remember that you can buy for enjoyment. I enjoy wearing this piece. I bought it even though I know all those things about it. The good thing was this was not as significant an investment as the rest of my jewelry collection. So this was only about $3,300 or so when I bought it, maybe even less than that. It could have been $2,950. The price hasn't gone up that much, but in the $3,000 range. So for me, that was not a huge investment to make. So even though it might get spoiled over the years, I will not be as hurt as if I had spent a significant amount of money on it. And there are people out here stacking their arms to the elbows with these Alhambra bracelets in all of the different stones and all of the variety of colors. And I'm like, that's over 4, 5, 6 pieces. You spent nearly $30,000 buying something that is made made of cheap materials that are not going to last you, and that's just mind-blowing for me. But if you enjoy it, go ahead and do it. Or what you can do is just diversify your collection. Get 1 or 2 pieces of those, and then get 1 or 2 pieces of something else that has that longevity. Or if you really just love Alhambra, make sure that you also extend to including the guilloche and not only get those stones. And if what you're looking for is the variety in colors, do remember that there are other stones on the MOHS scale that have beautiful colors that rank much higher. For example, rubies are ranked at about a 9. Of course, diamond is up there at a 10. Diamond is the hardest, gonna be the most resistant. Emeralds are somewhere in the 8 region. Sapphires are 9. And then we have things like topaz and aquamarine and citrine that fall in that 7-ish range. So you're getting beautiful colors from all of those, almost exactly the same type of colors you're getting from Alhambra, but you're going to get a stone that is going to last you a lifetime. And on top of that, this is when I would diversify my collection to just focusing on enjoyment. So in that case, I would be omitting my brand reputation. I'm not going to worry about my brand image. And I would be getting something like that from a local designer or from a smaller jeweler. For example, Thailand, that is where you get the best rubies. I didn't buy my ruby ring from, let's say, Tiffany. Instead, I went and bought it in Thailand where the locals are making it, and it's made very well. And I paid a fraction of what I would have paid had I bought it from a huge, well-known jewelry house. Also, Colombia. Colombia is known for the best emeralds available anywhere in the world. They're vibrant green and they're absolutely gorgeous. So if I wanted to add more green jewelry to my collection, I'd be looking at emeralds from Colombia rather than spending more money on malachite from Van Cleef and Arpels. So while in terms of future value, my Colombian emeralds might not increase in price too much, which means I might not make a profit on how much I paid if I wanted to sell. At least I wouldn't have paid that much to begin with, or I wouldn't have paid as much as I would have paid from a large jewelry house. But at the end of the day, I would still have my piece and it would still look amazing in many, many years to come and possibly just last an entire lifetime, and not just my lifetime, but my daughter's and her daughter, and go on and on and on and on forever. Even in the case of Princess Diana, I've seen a part of her jewelry collection and it's just so beautiful. And actually, Princess Kate is wearing the sapphire ring from Princess Diana's collection. That is what she chose to be her wedding ring, and it is still beautiful. It's still gorgeous. So that's what I mean. Sometimes you just need to pick things that are gonna last a lifetime, and even if you're choosing them for enjoyment, like I would do with my Colombian emeralds and with my Thailand rubies, I'm still gonna pick something that is going to last forever rather than spend money on a piece that I enjoy but that is going to depreciate terribly over time. Thank you, friends, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my next video where I am going to teach you how to care for your Cartier pieces, the Love Bracelet and the Juste Un Clou, so that you can get maximum wear out of them and that they will be with you for many, many, many decades to come. See you, friends, in the next video.